What's up, y'all? Man, welcome back to another episode of Next Level Talks. I'm your host, Jeremy Anderson, founder of the Next Level Speakers Academy, founder of my purpose in life. You know what I'm saying? I say that because there was a season where I ain't have purpose. I was trying to get money, you know what I'm saying, get ladies. I was about to use another term that they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? But like I was chasing other stuff, and now I'm living a life of purpose. I found that, and I'm the founder of the Next Level Speakers Academy, the number one professional speaker program course community in the world, man. And I'm excited to be on with y'all tonight. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not selling anything tonight. I am just giving you game. I'm giving you value, and I'm gonna be vulnerable. Is that okay? I'm gonna be vulnerable tonight. So y'all say what's up to me in the chat. Y'all say what's up to me in the chat. Y'all say what's up to me in the chat. Yeah, because I'm about to ask Deanna in just a second who's saying what's up to me, right? Don't leave me hanging. If I'm trying to dap you up, you know what I'm saying? Don't leave me out here hanging. Who's in the chat, Deanna?
You got Logan,
Yeah.
Isaac, Keisha,
Yeah.
Kimo.
Come on.
You got
Yeah.
Joy,
Our people.
our people.
Our people. I love it. I love it. Well, welcome. Man, I'm excited for y'all to join us tonight. Do me a favor. If you have not already subscribed, hit that little button to subscribe because I don't want you to miss it. When we do this weekly, I want to make sure that you capture every episode. So make sure you subscribe and then heart it. Like it real quick because when you like it, you're letting the algorithm of YouTube know, hey, this is something that people actually rock with. And now all the subscribers that already subscribed, this will pop up on their feed. So go ahead and like it and heart it for me and subscribe. Today, I'm gonna be vulnerable with y'all. Is this a safe space? Y'all tell me in the chat. Y'all tell me in the chat if this is a safe space. Yes or no? Is it a safe? Just put safe space. And I'm gonna share some stuff tonight that the average person would not share. They would keep it to themselves. Y'all know how it is, man. We be having the ugly part of us that we don't want nobody to know about. It's the reason why my brother Inky Johnson, I'm gonna reference this later, says that he don't want to be a public success but a private failure. Well, I'm gonna share with y'all some areas that I've been failing in. I'm gonna share with y'all some areas that I've been struggling with. I'm gonna share with y'all some areas that God is still working on me, and I'm not proud about it. And here's the crazy thing. I was like, man, I ain't talking about this. And God was like, that's exactly why you gotta talk about this. And then I tried to flip it like, man, they don't care about that. God was like, oh, they absolutely, this is some juicy stuff. They absolutely will care about that. So I'm gonna be vulnerable and I'm gonna show y'all how God showed me that I'm a hypocrite. Like for real, like that's what we're gonna talk about. If I were to title this Next Level Talks, I would title it, I've been a hypocrite or I'm a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Like God has just really been showing me myself and I'm committed to getting better, but I feel like I need to kind of express it to you because maybe I'm not the only one on this journey. Maybe I'm not the only one that presents one way, you know what I'm saying, but sometimes lives another. Oh man, but y'all gotta promise not to judge me, man. Man, let's get to it, man. Next Level Talks. Let's go.
You go out here and you clean your seat.
Oh, I just touched down, now it's time to celebrate. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Keep it a C note, if I'm speaking, I'm the keynote. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Dance.
Oh, Next Level Talks. Next, somebody in the chat, put juicy. If you feel like Jay about to drop something juicy, I hope the Shade Room don't pick this up. Lord have mercy. Did Sabah put this on Instagram? I hope the Shade Room don't pick it up, Deanna. Lord have mercy. Put juicy. Put juicy. Now I'm revisiting it. You know what I should have did, Deanna? I ain't gonna hold y'all. I should have cleared this with the execs. I should have been like, Deanna, what you think? You know what I'm saying? Like, Nick, what you think? Like, is this not a good look for the brand? Yeah, I'm already in here now. Or maybe we just do an hour Q&A.
It might be exclusive. We might not be able to post it today.
All right. Let's see how the people respond. So let me just say this here, right? I have been. God revealed to me years ago. It's funny too, because people be asking me like, bro, you always say God said this, God said that. Like, how do you know that it's the voice of God? Have y'all ever questioned that? Like, let me know in the chat. And Deanna, tell me like what their responses are, right? Like, I know for me, I for years I've been saying, man, God told me this, God told me that. And people pull me aside after I speak, like, bro, you really hear God's voice? What is what does that look like? Do he really be like talking to you? Like, how do you know if it's God's voice? Have any of y'all ever questioned that? Let me know in the chat.
Yeah, they said absolutely.
Okay.
Kim Mobley said transparency.
Yep.
It's always a good look.
Yep.
Kaden said, yes, I asked, how do
Okay.
you know it came from God?
Okay. Yeah.
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 Kim Mobley said, oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's the answer to how do you know it came from God? So you know it didn't come from God if it's something against His word, right? So if it's something where you like, well, His word clearly says not to do this, you know what I'm saying? Then you know it's not for God. But oftentimes for me, if I'm like, am I just tripping? Or it's like, no, this is something you really don't want to do. This is God pushing you to do it. Because I'm not just a naturally positive person. Like I got a little edge about me. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all think y'all know me. Y'all gonna really know me today. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'll put it to you like this. For 10 years, the way I met Coach Crump, y'all know Coach Crump. He's one of our execs. That's my brother, my right-hand man, the director of the Next Level Speakers Academy. Like, he's an advisor to me. Me and Crump have been on a prayer line with ET for over 10 years. Shannon, Big Shannon, our marriage coach that's in the community, like, I've been growing with these brothers for years. And so Crump and me, we would talk. It'd be sometimes 20 guys on the call, sometimes 30 guys. But because we talk so often, I can hear somebody chuckle. I can hear somebody clear their voice. I can hear somebody simply say, wow. And I'm like, oh, that's E. Price. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm like, oh, that's E.L. Butler. Or, oh, that's Chauncey. Or, oh, that's Brian. Like, I could hear something small. They ain't got to say a whole statement. They ain't got to say a whole word. Why? Because I talk to them so much, I can hear, I can decipher their voice through the noise. We could be on the prayer line. It could be 15 guys on, and it's 2-3 guys talking, getting excited, but I can hear one chuckle. So what does that mean for you? Those of y'all that's wondering, like, okay, Jeremy, you're about to share with us some hardcore convictions that God has given you, but how do you know it's God's voice? You know it's God's voice when it's challenging you to get better, when it's making you be more humble, when it's making you eat your words like that. Okay, Jeremy, do you really audibly hear the voice of God? I ain't never had the sun open up that says, my son, I want you to do this here. That would like blow my mind, right? I haven't been privileged with that or scared out of my wits with that yet. But because I talk to God so much, His word says, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. I'm His sheep. I hear His voice. I've been seeking the face of the Lord. I'm back in my 4 o'clock bag. You know what I'm saying? For years, I was getting up at 3, then I was getting up at 4 o'clock. Then I started getting to a point, but because of the season I was in, I was like, you know what, 5 is suffice. Maybe even 5:30. I needed that rest. I'm back in my 4 o'clock bag. You know what I'm saying? And because I spent so much time with God ever since I got baptized, October 17th, 2009, I've been spending so much time with God that it's like I can clearly hear when He's like, humble yourself and apologize to your wife. Or this person said something, but they really meant this because they hurt. Or extend grace to this person because they might be struggling with something. Or boy, don't park your truck here, park there, because God be clearly telling me what to do. So a few years ago, I put up a video that went viral online. And the title of that video was, I'm a hater. And I basically was saying how somebody that I coached and gave game to got like a big school. This was probably 4 years ago when this happened, by the way. Got like a big school contract. They ordered up a bunch of their curriculums. And my first thought was like, yo, how come I didn't get that contract? And God was like, you a hater. And I was like, yo, God, I'm not hating on my man. I'm just wondering why I didn't get it. I'm not saying your curriculum sucks or my books are better. I'm just wondering how you got that deal. And God was just like, bro, if you're not hating, if you're not celebrating, you hating. Somebody put ouch in the chat. When the last time you saw somebody post something and you not celebrating them, but you just kept on scrolling? God said, son, if you not celebrating, you hating. There is no neutral. There is no lukewarm. He's like, I will spit you, vomit you out of my mouth. God's like, no. Miss me with the lukewarm. You either hot or cold. Either you're celebrating. Come on, are they talking to me, Deanna? Either, huh? They saying ouch? Okay. Either you celebrating or you hating. And so that was some deep conviction. And I shared that with the people. And I was like, again, y'all, I wasn't saying his curriculum was trash. I'm just a very competitive person by nature. So I'm wondering what gaps. And God was like, how dare you wish or figure you should have something that he has. You don't know what work he put in. You don't know what sacrifices, what seeds he's planting. You know what I'm saying? What work he's been doing to get in this position. Like you have no clue. You just assume, you just feel like you should just have it just because. And so when God got on me, when I shared it, so many people responded to it. And God was like, this is the power of you being vulnerable. This is the power of you being open. This is the power of you being transparent. This is the power of you sharing the ugly side. Because most people ain't gonna go on Instagram and be like, man, God just had to slap me on my wrist and had to check me on something, right? So for me, I knew and realized like, man, in order for me to really go to the next level, I've got to be able to be more open and vulnerable because it's freeing. So I'm gonna share a few things with you all. And I believe as I share this, I'm even freeing myself in a sense, if that makes sense. Y'all put make sense in the chat, if that makes sense. Like, as I'm sharing, you know, saying some stuff, I feel like in a sense it's freeing me, but I believe it's also going to bring some liberty to you because maybe you realize like, man, you're not alone. Or maybe you realize like, yo, you're not the only one. Or maybe this conviction is like for you. So here's the first part where I knew I was a hypocrite. I just spoke for this really huge, so I spoke for the Ford Motor Company a while ago, and I spoke for this tech company, and I spoke for, a few weeks ago, I was somewhere speaking for a big pharmaceutical company, one of the biggest ones in the world, like 50,000 employees, they specialize in plasma. But last week I was in Indianapolis, and I was speaking for a real estate event, like the founder of it is like some high up, with Keller Williams, James, doing amazing work. And so I'm there with all these top real estate agents. And so they was like, Jeremy, we want your message of next level living. We want your message of occupational integrity. And Deani, I think I should do a live or a talk in a couple of weeks, specifically on occupational integrity. You know what I'm saying? To really dig into that. So I got to a point where I was just like, I was sharing my story. And when I get to the sixth question that you have to ask yourself on this journey of occupational integrity, the fifth question is, all this energy that you give your company, do you show up and do your job efficiently and effectively, right? Without anybody having to micromanage you or watch you. Then do you do your job at the highest level without anybody having to watch you efficiently and effectively? And can you do it without needing praise, credit, and accolades? And do you do all of that in the face of adversity? So a lot of people was like, yep, I'm operating on all cylinders. I'm going above and beyond. Don't nobody gotta watch me do my job. Don't nobody gotta micromanage me. Like I don't need no praise, credit, or accolades. And they was like, and in the face of adversity, I go in. And so I hit them with this here. I said, bet, well, occupational integrity is not just you operating at the highest level with integrity within your occupation, but you operating at the highest level with integrity in all the spaces you occupy as a human. So now can you check off this fifth box? That same energy that you give your company when you go above and beyond, do you give it to your family? And the whole crowd was like, oh, they was just like, wow. Like, it was a moment, y'all. It was like truly, it was the biggest aha moment I've ever experienced giving this occupational integrity message. And so all of them were convicted because they real estate agents. They out here getting it. They grinding. They showing houses. They looking up stuff. They going above and beyond. And I told them, I said, a lot of high level, a lot of high earners, a lot of top chairmen and CEOs and C-suite executives and teacher of the year and salesman of the year, a lot of people that operate at a really high level, they will all admit, I give my company my best, but my family the rest. So when I tell y'all, I went in on them about being more present for your kids, about being locked in. And then I told them this here to make it even worse. I told them how a few months ago, my son came home and was like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And I was like, hold on, son, I'm on the phone. And 5 minutes later, he came back, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And I was like, hey, son, I told you, bro. Like, I'm on the phone, give me a minute. He came back like 10 minutes and like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And I snapped on my man. And the audience was just looking at me. And I was like, yo, I snapped. I was like, hey, son, I told you, give me a few minutes. Daddy's on the phone. Daddy is working. And then he just dropped his head down and he walked off. And I ended up ending the call, and God was like, bro, you a hypocrite. And I was just like, yo. So I'm sharing this with the audience, and it's hitting them to their core. And so it happened again, right? Like, that's the part I'm trying to help y'all understand. I'm like, man, I'm challenging them to go above and beyond for their company, the organization, but also be present with the family. I told the audience, I said, y'all, I'm supposed to be so nice with it. If I'm really big and bad, if I'm really this boss, if I'm really that nice with it, then I should be able to handle all my meetings by 4 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, I should be able to clock out of the company that I own. Come on, boss man. Come on, big dog. Come on, CEO. You think you so nice? You should be able to clock out at 4 o'clock. I ain't taking no calls. Phone on, do not disturb. Full-time daddy and husband mode. So I'm sharing this with the audience, and they like, wow, they blown away. Everybody's convicted. Then I come home, and my daughter comes home. She's like, Daddy, let's do this. Daddy, let's do that. And guess what I'm doing? Oh, I'm trapping from my phone. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm running plays. We got the biggest conference, you know what I'm saying, for motivational professional speakers in the world. I'm making plays. Give me 1 second, babe. Yeah, you can swim. I'll be out there to watch you. And God was like, bro, you a hypocrite. You just pacify your kids. Yeah, you can go swim. Yeah, you can have some ice cream, and I'll watch you from the window. God was like, bro, put that phone down. You a hypocrite. Put that phone down. Come on, someone, y'all talk to me in the chat if y'all can relate. God was like, bro, you are preaching one thing, but living something different. And I get it, right? It's gonna be times I gotta take a car here or there, like, you know, that's within reason. But it's like you locked in, and then you telling your kids like, no. God was like, bro, you really should. My kids always ask me, Daddy, can we have a yes day? I'm scared because my kids bougie, Deanna. You know what I'm saying? My kids yes day here a little different. Jewel be like, can we go to Fogo de Chao? I'm like, girl, that's $55 just for you. You feel me? But for me, God was like, bro, you need to be like, yes, like locked in with him. And I'm sharing this with y'all because as people, as professional speakers, as, you know what I'm saying, people that really want to operate on that next level, there are going to be moments when we have to practice what we preach. We really should live that way. That's why it was such an iconic statement whenever I hear my brother Inky Johnson say that you never want to be a public success, but a private failure. So it's really making me do a lot of self-reflection. You know what I'm saying? It's really making me say, man, I can make some adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I can do better. Like, man, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, make the tweaks I need to make within. So I'm actually currently doing an audit of my life. And it's just like, man, do I operate with occupational integrity? I can't wait to do that episode, Deanna. But it's like, do I operate with occupational integrity, right? It's just, I remember one time, oh, check this out, y'all. I remember one time I was talking to one of my homeboys, and then we were somewhere, and I got home and I was talking to my wife, and the way I was talking to her, it wasn't disrespectful, it wasn't nothing crazy. Like, I ain't never raised my voice. We don't be yelling and cussing each other. Like, we ain't got that energy, right? But I did have a little. It was a little spice to it. I wouldn't say condescending, but it was a little spicy. And God was like, if you was talking to E.T., you wouldn't have took that tone. God was like, bro, what make you think you could take that tone with your wife? If you was talking to your pops, if you was talking to Shannon, if you was talking to Crump, you wouldn't be taking that tone. They could have said the exact same thing that she said, the way she said it. What gives you the right to use that type of language to her, the one you should be really protecting and covering, but you sitting here using this energy? God was like, bro, you a hypocrite. Oh, come on. Y'all talk to me. What they saying in the chat, Deanna? Because I ain't going to be sitting here pouring out and spilling my guts, and then they just looking at me like I'm crazy, like I'm the only one.
Dr. A said guilty as charged.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
Nate said I can completely relate. Scott said speak those facts. Logan said talk that talk.
Okay.
Keisha said gotta live by example.
Oh,
Linda
man.
said she need to do better.
Who?
Linda said I can do better.
Yeah, no, that's real. And, you know, and we are all striving. You know, we all should be striving. I mean, not everybody ain't striving for it, but it's a process. And that's why I wanted to share with you all, you know, a bit of my journey tonight. So now I still got I got a few more on my list. That was just a few examples. But I got a bigger one that actually happened today. And I was actually on some victim stuff, Deanna. I was like, why? Why does it have to happen to me? God was like, bro, don't do that. Like, ain't nobody make you follow my man to the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a slight road rage incident, maybe. I don't know if I should even tell him this. Y'all say tell it in the chat if you think I should tell it. And don't do it just because you want juicy stuff. Do it, say that only if you really want to learn, right? But what have I been saying I've been in a place of, Deanna?
Zen.
Say it again. Zen. I've been in a place of, I've been chasing Zen because I got a little edge about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure y'all know by now, I haven't always been, walking with God. I haven't always been this man of God, this man of faith, this motivational person. Like, there was a time in my life when I wasn't walking with God, and I was living a completely different lifestyle. My good friends Tim and Juliet Ross, they sent me a voice note, and Juliet was just like, man, Jeremy, your voice, your energy, when you talk to Tim, like, it's so soothing. Y'all got a beautiful relationship. She was like, sometimes I forget, like, you had a past. And she was like, that's how you know God has done a work in you. And I'm like, he's doing the work. he's doing the work, Juliet, because the job ain't done yet. You know what I'm saying? He just clocked back in after lunch. He's still doing the work in your boy. But she was just like, it's almost weird she literally said, it's almost like your story and your testimony is fake. Y'all feel me? That's deep. She was like, bro, you live in such a way that what you experienced and who you were then before baptism, like BC, and who you are now after Christ, before Christ, like, it's almost like not real. Like, it's hard to believe. And so I heard that voice note, I think a day or two ago, and I ain't gonna hold you, Deanna, I was kind of feeling like, well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm like, huh?
You got humbled.
Yeah, I was just like, I am this man of God. You know what I'm saying? Because I really felt like I ain't kicking indoors no more. I ain't toting no more guns. Like, all the guns I shoot now, I'm in the shooting range. You feel me? Like, I'm baptizing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't run up in nobody's house. I ain't selling no dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm pushing hope now. I'm pushing inspiration now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I was just feeling like, man, yeah, I have come a long way. Praise God. And today, God reminded me, like, yeah, you've come a long way, son, but you still got a long way to go. Are they wanting me to tell the Deanna, or do they want to do just Q&A?
No,
How are we on time? Because maybe we'll do it another time and we can just hit the Q&A.
They said tell it's 7:23.
This guy here, he's like, you've got 7 minutes. All right. So everybody that's on, and I want you to, everybody put no judgment in the chat before I share this, because this is embarrassing. This probably gonna have people saying, I'm probably not gonna sign up for the Next Level Speakers Academy. Like, I'm probably not coming to the conference. Y'all put no judgment in the chat if this is a judgment-free zone.
They said it's Next Level Confessions.
No. That don't mean no judgment though. Y'all put no judgment. I ain't say remix it.
They said no judgment at all.
How many people said that?
That's a lot of them. They still going.
Okay, all right. If y'all got a judgment spirit, man, I promise if y'all put this on the Jasmine brand in the shade room, I'm coming for you. That's another thing too. Let me warm up to this big one. I gotta get to a place where when someone does, you know what my biggest thing is? I don't like bullies.
Yeah.
I don't like bullies. Like, I really do have a hard time with bullies or people that like portray like they tough. Like, it's just like, bruh, like, so I really struggle with that. So when I see people online that make comments, I'm like, bruh, you so tough on your phone in your house, in your basement. But if you was in the elevator with me, you wouldn't have this energy. If you saw me just getting off the stage, you wouldn't say a word to me, but you so tough. You got them tough little fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put 5 of them fingers together on each hand. But the old me would do that. You feel me? And so I used to really struggle with that. And so one time somebody put something on Instagram and they said something. They was just like, you baptizing these people ain't signed up for that. And it's like my heart about jumped out of my chest. I'm thinking like, you don't even know me. And so I went into defense mode. But then God was just like, bro, you need to be able to see that stuff, pray on that spirit, and keep it moving. And so this is my final maybe confession. I had an incident today. I went to the gym really early, got up around 4 or so, was in the gym like maybe 6:30, was home about 6:40, 6:50, got 7:40, 7:50, got the kids off to school, and I was hungry. You know what they say about halts, right? You know about halts? You gotta watch the decisions you make when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Somebody need to write that down in the chat, and you need to put in your personal notes, right? I've worked with clients, I've worked with people, I've had counselors, different ones tell me this, like, it's not something I created, right? But halt. You want to halt when it comes to certain things. My counselor, I got 3 different ones I see. Dr. Lakiba Williams is the one that cautioned me about 2 years ago on halt. Don't make any decisions when you're hungry, when you're angry, when you're lonely, or when you're tired. Halt. I should have halted this morning, okay? Because I was coming back and I was so tired. You know what I'm saying, from that excruciating workout. I got a trainer, like I was going hard, dropped the kids off to school, and I had a lot of other stuff I got to do. And so I was actually driving, and I guess I wasn't driving fast enough. And so the person behind me honked their horn. Now my kids, one thing about my kids, if I am like a gentle giant. I mean, I'm only 5'10", but y'all know what I'm saying. Like in my heart, like I care about people, I love people. You know, I'm a shepherd at heart. My South African name, my Zulu name that an elder gave me years ago was May Lucy, which means to shepherd. I am a lovable guy. Heart emojis for you, right? I remember blacking out. When my man honked the horn, man, it's like I lost it. It's like whatever Holy Ghost I had in me, whatever little angels was flapping their wings, it was gone. And here's what got me. My kids, whenever I'm dropping them off and we driving and the light is like green and the person didn't go because they texting, I won't be tripping. Jackson be like, honk your horn, Dad. I'm like, no, Jackson, it's nice. Jewel would be like, people do that all the time. Honk your horn. And then Jewel tried me one time. She's like, are you scared? I was like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, baby, I'm not scared. You got to extend grace. You got to be patient. So almost every day they be telling me to honk my horn at somebody. And I'm like, look, they probably, so if I ever do, and it's been like 10 seconds, I'll give like a boop, boop. Y'all feel me? That's gentle, right? Deani, does that make sense? I feel like the boop, boop is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a light little nudge. Man, this morning, my man gave me the full, I'm talking like 3 seconds. And I mashed on the brakes, which made him mash on the brakes. And he almost hit my truck, and he was in an SUV too. And so my first thought was, I'm gonna get out right now. Because here you are, another tough guy, honking. But if I'm in the elevator and I hit the wrong button, you ain't gonna say a word. And so I don't know if it was God, but I opened my door, then I closed it, and I started driving off slowly. And then I was just like, I don't know how I lost it, but then I was just like, you know what, bump that. So I stopped again. Then I'm like, no, I'm a man of God. So I drove off slowly. And then he ended up making a left turn. And I don't know what happened, but my hands started doing like this. And the other one was like this. And then I turned around and I followed my man all through the neighborhood. And I was ready to address it. You know what I'm saying? And I had never done this before, right? And so I followed my man and got all the way to like so he realized I was following him, because by the time I turned around, I had to mash on the gas, and I got a big black Yukon Denali. So he knew, like, oh, yo, this is my man I just honked at. So it's like 5 different turns into this neighborhood where he lived. And so he turned around in the cul-de-sac and it slowed up, and I rolled right up on him. Now I got my black truck, my window tint is like, I don't know what, 5%, like you literally can't see through it even if you do like this. So I rolled the window down, he rolled the window down, and man, my heart was about to jump on my chest. I had so much rage, and I remember thinking like, man, help me, Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like I was hot. And so I said, say, bruh, that wasn't necessary. He was just like, what do you mean? I said, bro, you know what I mean. I said, that long honk? I said, bro, you better watch it. I said, because you're going to honk at the wrong person, somebody that don't got God in their heart, and you're going to have the worst day of your life. And so he was just like, I'm sorry, man. I was just like, let me tell you something, bro. God did some of my, now I'm all holy now, right? I'm like, God did some of my life years ago. I said, I promise you, I really get upset when people do that. I said, bro, he was just like, well, you were driving slow. Bro, give me a toot-toot. But don't sit here and don't give me that same aggression, but now you're calling me sir. And so he was like, I'm sorry, sir. And I was just like, it's cool, man. And I was like, and my man was shaking. My man was trembling. And I was like, I'm sorry for driving so slow. He was like, no, it's good, but we're good, sir. I'm like, then I felt so convicted because my man was shook. He about to piss his pants. I'm thinking like, yeah, bro. I said, look, man, just, in the future, be cautious, bro, because we in Atlanta. I don't want you to honk your horn at the wrong person that's not going to roll up and give you a warning. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, thank you, sir. I was like, man, have a great day, bro. No, he told me have a great day. I told my man, have a blessed day. I feel like I was guilty, Deanna. I felt guilty, right? And so I drove off home, and I just feel like God was just shaking his head. Like, bro, you such a hypocrite. You be talking about extending grace. You be talking about being patient. What happened? You just preached and talked about a greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. And God was just like, bruh. Now, though I ain't jump out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't physically assault my man, but what was in my heart, I was ready for whatever smoke. Like, that's the dangerous part where God was like, I still got some stuff to work on you. Because full transparency, had my man been like, bro, I'm going to hump my horn right now, and what you going to do about it? I already know it would have popped off, 100%. But because he was so shook and because he was so shaken, I kind of felt like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm wilding. Does that make sense? Y'all talk to me in the chat. What they saying? What y'all saying? Talk to me. Put it on y'all. What y'all talking about? Y'all judging me?
If they were scared of the muscles.
No, you whatever, man. And so for me, I walked away and I had mixed feelings. A part of me was just like, man, that went well. But God was like, yeah, only because my man was shook. But what if you came across somebody that wasn't afraid of you? He was like, first off, bro, you a man of God. You shouldn't have that fearful energy. God was like, bro, what you doing? Like, you need to go see somebody. Like, so I booked another appointment with my counselor, but I've been doing great. But certain things just really, can y'all feel me? I can't explain it. I'm not just out here picking on folks, but it's like, bro, you hit me with all that aggression. I'm like, bruh. And so God said, you've got to grow up. At what point do you get to a point where you say, man, my bad player, and keep it moving? When do you become a powerful man of God that says, wow, my man having a bad day. Man, God, touch that person in that vehicle so that they don't go home with that energy to their spouse. Like God was like, when you gonna get to a point where when they attack that way, you respond, well, greater is he that's in you, son, than he that's in the world. So God was like, I need you to grow up. Like I need you to be more mature. Like don't let these things affect you so much. So whatever energy or whatever spirit he had, now done jumped on you, and now you want to roll up on my man. And luckily you came across somebody that was intimidated by you, as opposed to somebody that matched your energy. Because I'll probably be on Fox 5 News right now. You know what I'm saying? International professional speaker gets arrested for, because I would have put, anyway, I wouldn't put hands because I'm a changed man. But y'all know what I'm saying, man. God was just like, bruh. And my wife often says, because I can be I'm not ready to share it with y'all. I can be a very passionate person, right? So, like, what was that? What was that?
I try to hold it.
Yeah, because my wife is just like, you need to get anger management. I'm like, babe, anger management is for people who can't manage their anger. She's like, but you get angry all the time. I'm like, babe, no, I don't. I ain't punched a wall. I ain't punched no windshield. Like, I get angry. And then I told her today, I said, there's a righteous anger. You should be angry when there are pedophiles out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be angry if somebody breaks into your house. Why you give me that look, Deanna? You should be angry at that. I said, it's okay to be angry sometimes. She's like, you're angry all the time. I'm like, whatever. So that's my confession, man. I don't want to be a hypocrite. And so as positive and motivational and as loving as I am, man, there are still moments when we fall short. And I don't know who this is for, but God like showed me myself and was just like, bro, you ain't never did that. You know what I'm saying? I've stopped before. I done hit the brakes to piss the person behind me off. And right when the light turned red, then I run the light to make them stay. I've done that before. That's bad too, Hundu. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I ain't go fast enough. I'm going to hit the brakes. And now right when the light turned red, I'm going to go. And now you stuck. But God was like, bro, you never got a handle on that. Now you actually following people through their neighborhood to their house. And so I'm just sharing that with y'all because as a leader, right? As a shepherd, as a mentor, I still got gaps, you know, and I'm gonna always have gaps. Like ain't nobody perfect. The Bible says our righteousness is but filthy rags. And it takes a lot to upset me. But I just felt so, The horn hunk was so volatile. It was so aggressive. I felt attacked in a sense, and God was like, I need you tougher. I need you stronger than that. I need you, you know what I'm saying, to just like let that thing go. Bro, you got too much going on. The enemy would love for me to get caught up in an altercation or a road rage and somebody gets sent to the hospital. I could have followed somebody that was twice my size. That could have put me in the hospital. Like, that's the reality. Like, this thing could have went all the way left. God gave me grace, and luckily my man was shook. Now, he was bigger than me, but he was still shook. Like, and so I'm just sharing this with you all because I don't want to be a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? And so what I preach, what I share, what I talk about, I do aim to live it every single day. But I'm just noticing things even within me. And I got to get to a point where things don't affect me as much, right? It's like I would go to a grocery store and somebody give me bad service. They got an attitude. The old me just be like, man, why you giving me this attitude? Like, that's why you working up. You ain't gonna never go to the next level when you got that type of energy. And God was like, bro, how about you speak life to that person? So this is something God been working on me on. So now when I go place, I'm getting bad service. How's your day going? It's going. I feel you. Life be life sometime, right? Yeah, it do. Well, I just want you to know I see you. And I appreciate you. And I know things can be crazy, but I appreciate your existence. And I'm believing it's going to get better. And you, every time, it's like they guard. It's like they let their guard down. And they say thank you. And then I walk away from that encounter. And God be like, that's my boy. That's what I'm talking about. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. But the old me would be like, man, why she give me that energy? I'm a child of God. Miss me with that. God was like, bro, people are struggling. People are hurting. Don't just be a motivational speaker while you on stage. Come on, who am I talking? Y'all talk to me. I need to see the doggone chat. Find a way, Stevan, Jerry, to put the chat in the future on the screen. I need to make sure I'm not just sitting here running my mouth and that people are actually receiving what I'm saying. I got to a point, y'all, where God was like, son, I need for you to know that what you have inside you can actually have an effect on them. And so I got to a point where I was just like, yo, if I come across somebody, you got weird energy, whether we got another 2-3 minutes of exchange or 40 seconds, I'm about to send love to you. And I want for you to feel better than when I came into your presence, because that's the energy a real man of God has. Does that make sense? Like, that's the energy a real man of God has. Now, let me go a little. No, I'm going to stay right there. So that's what I've been working on. So now when I come across people, God is like, bro, see the human. One thing Crump has taught me years ago, he's like, see the humanity in people. You know what I'm saying? And even though we try to prescribe to that, we don't always get it right. But now at those moments, I'm like, okay, this is not just a person with an attitude. This is not just a person being disrespectful or condescending. This is a person that's hurting. This is a person that's at war with themselves. And this is an opportunity for me to minister to them, to maybe bring it down. Because if not, and I'm going back and forth with you, I got the gift of gab. God said, don't you dare use that tongue that you use to bring love and motivation and inspiration. Don't you dare use that tongue that you use to bring people closer to Christ and stop people from committing suicide, that make people feel like they got a little bit more to keep fighting. Don't you dare use that tongue to now make somebody feel worse. And then the next person, an innocent bystander, come across them, they done wreck their day, and the devil sit back laughing at you like you work for him. You with me, son. And so today I failed. Today I dropped the ball. And luckily, by God's grace, the situation turned out what it was. You know, he apologized to me. I apologized to him. He wished me a great day. I wished him a blessed day. And my heart kind of got back to a regular rhythm. But God was like, son, you got major gaps. The fact that you actually followed my man and was ready for whatever energy he was bringing, that is a problem. And so I'm sharing that with y'all because I don't want to be a hypocrite. And there are some other angles. There are some other things in my life. I ain't about to share everything with y'all, right? But I'm sure we all, if I ain't the only one, just put in the chat, I ain't the only one, right? I'm sure we all have challenges and gaps and things that we have to work on. I want to be the best version of me, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it is hard to practice what you preach. Can I talk about that? I'm like, some of y'all are like wanting to be motivational speakers, but there are sometimes you're not motivated. Duh, God put you in that season for a reason. And if you can figure out how to be a self-starter, if you can figure out how to motivate yourself, if you can figure out how to pull yourself out of that funk, now you have the capacity, now you have the wherewithal, now you have the know-how to tell somebody else how to do it. So some of y'all is like, man, I still ain't got that breakthrough yet. Well, when you get that breakthrough, you can go and share that breakthrough with others. And so I am committed, you know what I'm saying, to being better. I'm committed to growing. I'm committed to, you know what I'm saying, being used by God. And I am committed to not being a hypocrite. Because it's easy to point to somebody else's speck in their eye when you got a whole log or a plank or a whole toothpick in yours. Like, it's easy to look at what other people are doing. I was just talking to one of my homeboys who I love dearly, who was having a disagreement with one of my other homeboys who I love dearly, and we all go back over 20 years. And he was like, man, he be doing this, he be doing that. I said, bro, you act like I ain't did that before. And I said, you act like you ain't did that before. I said, bro, we all need grace. And just like that, my man was like, you right. I said, bro, think about it. You was in a similar situation. Yours was worse. Mine was worse. That's actually kind of, he was like, yo, you right. And so that's my message for y'all tonight. I'm going to take some questions. I just wanted to, like, if y'all going to come on these next level talks, you see, I'm not going to waste your time. I want to really kind of share my heart and really be open and vulnerable in real time. I was going to give a few other examples of how I've been a hypocrite and some things God is working on. But when that road rage incident happened today, and I followed my man today and jumped out today, on the way home, God was like, tell on yourself. Deanna, I was like, they don't want to hear that, God. God was like, tell on yourself. Like, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Let me take a few questions, and then I'm going to put in some time with the family. Okay. All right, dude. And you read the questions to me.
Okay, so the relationship GPT said, I have those road rage moments. What advice do you have for finding the root? And I find myself struggling to be present at home because I didn't learn it. What advice on being present?
Man, thank you for that, your vulnerability, man, and for owning it. I think that's, you know what's huge about his question, Deanna? He got awareness. Yeah. I was talking to somebody recently I love dearly. I was like, man, this person can't see themselves. That person sees everybody else is like, but you don't see your stuff. That's the challenge. The fact that you see that is huge. So I'll say this, the road rage, the root, it could be halt, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. People make the worst decisions when they're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. If any of you all watching me ever feel like, man, I said something, I did something, I wish I would have not have done it, that's so much not in my character, 100% of the time, 99% of the time, you were hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. You're not thinking straight. So for me, I was probably hungry, I was tired, you know what I'm saying, and angry. I was angry, you know what I'm saying? Like them 3 seconds feel like eternity, right? And so when you talk about the root, you got to figure out what the root is. It's different for everybody, right? But again, I got counselors, you know what I'm saying? I got therapists, right, that I meet with on a regular basis. So it could sometimes for me it might be the pressure of work or what we're building or frustrations because I have so many people, approximately 20 people, whose household income depends on me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was that kind of accurate, Deanna? Like, yeah. Like by 20 people, like they, you know what I'm saying? Huh? 20 plus. Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, we need to fire off on all cylinders because I can't let these people down. So that brings pressure. And so sometimes just the pressure on life. Another pet peeve of mine is because I love deeply. If I don't feel that, and I go hard for people, and if I feel like I don't get that back, that's some deep-rooted stuff I have to work on. Now, to answer your other question, struggling to be present at home because you ain't see that. You probably came from a home where your parents, your guardians worked hard, and they felt like that was love to them. I just met with a relative here recently, very successful. Their family's very successful. They make a very great living for themselves. They do very well. But she was just like, man, my husband, though, he's just now realizing you need me to be more present. For him, I'm a great husband because I come home at night, but when I'm not home, I'm working really, really, really hard. But she was just like, but can you see me? Like, can you, like, I exist. Like, I got thoughts, feelings, emotions too. And so sometimes you might be so locked in on providing where you got to just provide some attention or some lovey-dovey time or a date night or wrestle with the kids. And so for me, I try to do everything I can to be as present with my kids as possible. and I incorporate them in everything I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm working on a house, I got a power drill or I'm calling Jackson like, Jewel, you want to cook something? You want to make some runs? You want to do something? Bet. When I drop them off in the morning, I'm the DJ. Oh, I got everything except for the mix board. They grab my phone. They got the playlist. We jamming, right? Like, I just try to do whatever I can to be engulfed with my family. So I would say for you to be more mindful, but maybe you ask your wife. You said you struggling to be more present at home because you ain't learned it. Well, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to make those adjustments. So ask her, hey, babe, how could I be more present at home? The worst thing you can do, family, is to just say, you know what? I'm going to figure something out. Bump that. Go to the source. Honey, what can I do to make you feel I'm more present? She might say, put your phone down. She might say, after 6 o'clock, from 6 to 9, I need your attention. She might say, bro, you good until 7:38. I want to have some cuddle time. I want to watch HGTV. Like, just find out from her. A lot of cats be like, I'm just going to kind of do what I would want done. Nah, love them the way they need to be loved. Next question. What advice?
So Scott said, what advice would you give speakers who are early on their journey, who struggle with imposter syndrome when they have moments like the road rage?
Well, listen, hopefully I'm freeing all you new professional speakers. Hopefully I'm freeing you up to let you know that even though you got issues, God will still work with you. Let me be clear. When Jesus was here on earth, he had the 12, but he had the 3, Peter, James, and John. If you really search this, when he went up to the mountain of transfiguration, you know what I'm saying? He was about to meet with Moses and Elijah. He brought Peter, James, and John. Like, a lot of times when he brought that inner circle, like a small group, it was Peter, James, and John. Guess what? Peter still denied Jesus. Peter was gangster. Peter was out cutting off cats' ears. Jesus had to tell Peter, get behind me, Satan. He like, bro, you actually doing the opposite. I told you what has to be done. This is God's plan. You want what you want. Like, bro, Peter had issues. Jesus still kept him right on his hip. He still used them. So for all of you speakers, it's like, man, I'm hearing Jeremy, I got imposter syndrome because I'm still dealing with roller rage, or I'm still in a weird place, or I still get upset sometimes. That means you still human. I remember meeting with my doctor, Dr. Lakeeba Williams, a year ago, so ago, and I was in the thick of my challenges, and I was just like, what's wrong with me? She said, you human, baby. She was like, you're human, honey. Like, son, she had like the mama energy. She was like, you human. Because I was thinking like, but why am I? She was like, you're human. Don't try to paint yourself as this. You're human. You got emotions. Your feelings can get hurt. You can get frustrated. You can experience anger, right? And so we all go through it. I think the important thing is that we work through it. All right? I don't know who that's for. We all go through it, but the important thing is that we work through it and don't settle for it. Always grateful. Y'all put it in the chat. Hurry up. Come on, come on, come on. Always grateful. Talk to me. Put it in the chat. Always grateful. Never settle. I see it popping up. I see it popping up. So check this out. So let me see. It's okay. Let me see the rest of the question there. Go ahead and move that. Go ahead and move that out the way. All right. Thank you. So I would say that's what I would say for the imposter syndrome. Like, a lot of speakers experience that because they feel like they haven't reached certain levels of success. I remember I talked to one cat. He was like, man, I want to do corporate, or I want to do like universities, but I dropped out of school and I just feel like imposter. Like, no, it's not imposter syndrome. That's just not your audience. You didn't finish college. You're not even really in corporate like that. You ain't got no business to speak to them. Go to an elementary school and change some lives. Go to a middle school and change some lives. You bounce back and finish high school on time. Go to some high schools and change some lives. You have to mature into that next field. I was speaking to corporate 10 years ago. My first corporate check was $10,000. I was like, oh, I want to do more corporate. God was like, boy, stop it. I ain't calling you to that right now. You stay your butt in these churches. You stay your butt in these schools. I'm going to sprinkle this in from time to time. But then as I begin to grow and I begin to operate at a new level and I begin to start companies and businesses and hire executives and become a CEO and reading books and growing and creating cultures and experiences. And like, as I began to expand, God was like, now you got something to share with corporate. Does that make sense? So just know, for those of y'all struggling with imposter syndrome, like, that stuff comes and goes. I've got some speakers who have been speaking for 10, 15 years and they still struggle with that. But then you got to go back to say, you know what? I'm not falling into that. I've been called to do this work. I have something to say. God can use me right here and right now. Next question.
All right, so Naughty Hottie Treats said, how can we use a story like this in our speech?
Come on, Naughty Hardy. How can we, you knew it. How can we use a story like this in our speech? I think it depends on the crowd, right? I think it depends on the crowd. I probably would not share this story in corporate. I wouldn't. But if I was speaking, like I might share it at our speakers conference. Matter of fact, Deani, just mental note, we'll talk about it afterwards, but that's going to be one of my presentations, and I'm going to share it even more. Y'all got to come to the conference, though. It's going to be real juicy. But but I would probably share this at a men's conference. You know what I'm saying? Because the men could relate to that, like with road rage and like controlling your anger, like, and where I fell short. So it really depends on the audience. So for me, if I was speaking for a men's conference and depending on the theme of what God shared with me, because I have a story I could tell, that doesn't mean I should share it. It depends on what the theme is. And I tell people all the time, when you go into professional speaking, figure out what the theme is, the audience, what's the purpose for the event. Then you can begin to pray and get discernment on what exactly you should share and what stories you should incorporate once you hear from them to see what the biggest needs and challenges are. All right, so yeah, there is a way I could weave it in, but I wouldn't share this at schools. If I was speaking to teachers, I wouldn't share it, but I could see how I could weave this into a church. If I was preaching for a church, I could kind of talk about how we all fall short and how God still uses us and how sometimes we might have that Peter temper, but we got to crucify the flesh and we got to watch out for that pride and we got to use more discernment and we got to always be prayerful and we got to listen to the voice. Because let me be clear, the voice of God said, keep driving. I'm the one that suppressed the voice of God. I'm the one that was like, you know what, I'm tired of the cats. I'm gonna say it. I'm tired of cats honking at me. They gonna learn today. I had that energy when God was like, bro, keep it moving. Your purpose is so much bigger. You don't know what my man got going on in that car. You don't know what's going on in his world. He don't know how potent and how amazing and how powerful and how anointed you are. But obviously you don't either. Which is why you follow him to his house. Let's move on. Next question. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that'll preach. Kristen, talk to me.
So Kristen, I recently got a speaking gig for a group of high school students ages 13 to 15. The school's teacher said that this group are very disruptive. They're easily struggling. They're really struggling and they're easily distracted. So what advice or tips would you share that I can implement to help to keep the kids locked in and engaged in my presentation?
What's the data? What was the first question? How old were they and how many?
13 to 15.
And how many of them? I'm guessing it's a group.
Yeah, it's a group of high school students, ages 13 to 15.
So here's the cool thing about you meeting with a group of them. I've been to some of the rowdiest schools in the world, I promise you. And I've only had maybe 2 or 3 times when I could not control the crowd, but that's just because it was like 2,000 people. And, you know, if 10% of 2,000 is talking, that's 200 people. So even though the other 800 or 1,800 is locked in, it's still hard. But I got through the message. But with a smaller group, they're actually going to be more calm. So, Kristen, I want you to go into that thing, bruh. Now, don't go in there suited and booted. Don't go in there with your picture there, you look fresh with the blazer on. Like, don't go in there suited and booted. Go in there with a hoodie, some J's, some T-shirts, some jeans. Go in there and be low-key, and then you begin to let them know why you're there and let them know why you care. You know what I'm saying? And kind of go from there. So that's what I would recommend. So those smaller settings, let me tell you, I've been in some schools where they're like, Jeremy, we're going to give you the whole assembly, but all the kids are disrupting, the ones that be starting fights, one of the ones that will stab the kid, like it's about 40 of them, we're going to put them in ISS so that they don't disrupt the program. I'm like, oh, well, did they do something recently? They was like, nah, we just bring it, because they on some celebrity stuff. We don't want him to interrupt your performance. I'm like, first off, it's not a performance. I'm like, I need these babies in here. They was just like, Jeremy, we don't want it to be a distraction. I was like, you know what? If that's the case, let me meet with the whole student body, but let me do a separate presentation with them. They was like, we don't have to bump that budget. This is God's work. So I literally met with those 40 of what they call the roughest or toughest or most disruptive kids. We was in the library media center. Man, I ain't hear a word out of them kids. They was locked in. And I was like, hey, man, I didn't want y'all to go to ISS. I know sometimes they might do that because you don't disrupt, but that's how special y'all are. That's how important y'all are. That I wanted to tap in with you on a personal basis. And I start flexing. I'm like, hey, they pay me big money. I travel all over the world. I do a lot. But I wanted to have a separate, special moment and experience with you all because to let you know how amazing you are. And then I start going in and I say, look, I'm gonna tell y'all how successful you can be. I'm gonna tell you what great things you can do in the world. But before I get to that and tell you about how anointed and powerful you can become, I wanna first let you know what happens if you don't finish school? What happens if you drop out? What happens if you fall victim to drug and alcohol abuse? What happens if you end up in prison? And I begin to paint a picture of the private prison systems and how people invest in prisons, hoping that you fail, hoping you get caught up on a dope charge, and they can make money. They was like locked in, and I was sharing some stuff they never heard before. So with all that being said, Kristen, man, when you meet with them, man, just that's a blessing that they're gonna be in a smaller group. Man, love on them, pour into them, encourage them, speak life to them. I don't want you even thinking like, man, this is a disruptive group. I don't even want you going there with that anticipation or that energy. You going there like, man, I'm about to meet with some of these young kings and really pour into them and speak life in a more intimate setting. Let me hit 2 more and we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. Timothy said, how can I be a better husband that allows his wife a voice without losing myself?
I need 45 minutes on this one, my boy. So I'll say this. So everybody has different personalities and temperaments. You know, you have some guys that really don't have a voice in their marriage. Then you got some guys that got all the voice. Then you got some guys that got all the voice and their wife got all the voice and they bumping heads. Then you got some guys that got all the voice and their wife don't have much and they overpower them and shut their voice down. So for me, what I had to do over the years is my wife already had a voice, but I had to adhere to her voice. If that makes sense, I had to be more present, more locked in. I had to be more open and receptive. So I would ask her advice. To this day, she just told me the other day, we couldn't afford to do something, and I'm like, stop playing. But she in a live below your means. She's in preservation mode. She's like, that's a bit much. Like we was looking at some flights to Dubai and some other stuff. And she's like, no. And so I was just like, okay, wow. So now somebody else would say, but bro, you the man of the house. Bro, you go out here and make the money. Yeah, I make it and she manages it. Because I can make it and I can blow it. When she came into my life, my credit score was like 500. It was trash. I didn't even know how to put together a resume. She killing your boy all the way up, right? So for me, I'm like, hey, babe, can we buy this? Can we wait? The old me, Timothy, used to try to convince her. She'd be like, I'm not sure. So now I go into convince mode. Now I go into persuasion mode. And God said, you better not use what you use when you preach. You better not use the gift of persuasion when you're motivating people. You better not use that gift to your wife. That's like manipulation. And I was like, well, that's a negative word. I'm like, it ain't that deep. He's like, bro, don't do that. She has discernment. She can sense something is off. And I used to feel like, man, I'm like the football team. I'm trying to put up points. I mean, I was like, she's trying to hold me back. God was like, no, she's not trying to hold you back. She's trying to hold the enemy back. She's on defense. You on offense. Oh, yeah. But I meant like pass the ball.
Protect the brand.
Yeah, protect the brand. Praise God. Yeah. So let me rewind back, because that was a really good analogy. I think I might have butchered it. I was on offense. I'm trying to put up points. But football, she on defense. She trying to stop the opposition from scoring. But I thought her defense was like stopping me, and God was like, no, she's in protection mode. And so for me, I began to ask her opinion. I began to ask her advice on almost a lot of the moves I make. You know what I'm saying? Like I would adhere to her. So I would say for you is I would say, again, ask her, hey, babe. And don't ask her when she's upset with you. Find out, because you'll be surprised what you get out when she's in an okay space. Hey, babe, I got a question. Do you feel like you got a voice? Like, I know sometimes I can be overpowering, but do you feel comfortable? And she might say, you know, I feel like you don't value my voice or you don't value my opinion. You know, babe, I'm going to start doing better. I want to get better at that because I do value your voice. I promise you, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I am the breadwinner of the family. I am the one that generates the revenue, but we built this together. I still is like, can we buy this? Can we spend this? Can we do this? She's like, yes, no, maybe so. Like, she makes all those moves, right? And so for me, God was just like, she has a voice. I need you to amplify her voice because you are so passionate. You're so powerful. You be out here speaking. She kind of behind the scenes, but not when it comes to your house. She needs to be in the forefront. So for you, I would just say, if you want to be a better husband and allow your wife to have a voice, don't worry about losing yourself. Matter of fact, you should lose yourself in a sense. In a sense, hear me clearly here. You should die to yourself. You should die to flesh. I've been crucifying the flesh, bro. And here recently, it's more painful than I thought it would be. But I'm constantly saying, you know what? Not my will, but thy will be done. So don't. So you on self-preservation. I need you to preserve your wife. Because that question, and I feel you, I'm not mad at you, but your question is like, how can I give her a voice without losing myself? Don't even focus on you losing yourself, bro. You ain't gonna lose yourself. Because if you already feel like you overpowering your wife and she ain't got a voice, that means the way you are, you ain't gonna lose yourself, bro. You need to find her though. You need to make sure, don't worry about losing yourself, man. Find your wife. Don't worry about losing your voice. Find her heart. So that's the advice that I would give you. Ask her, babe, do you feel like you got a voice? Can I do more? And then tell her, I do value your voice. There is so much wisdom that comes from you. You know what I'm saying? And y'all just have those open conversations. I think that can be a game changer for you. Great question, Timothy. Let me get one more to take us home.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Rose Speaks. She just registered for the conference.
Oh, shout out to Coach.
All right, so Razel said,
What up, sis? We got it wrong last week because I couldn't see from a distance. And the name, I think it was Big Ben. What's up, my sister from another mister? Praise God.
Yeah, praise
All
God.
right.
How do you navigate living with a family who spews negativity and fear on what you're pursuing in life, but constantly claims they want to be included and that you're leaving them out?
Ooh, so that's a loaded one, but I'll say this here. It depends, right? How do you navigate living with family who spews negativity and fear on what you're pursuing? So it depends. If it's family like mom and dad, cousin, brother, sister, that's one thing. If it's you talking about family like spouse, because you said constantly claims they want to be included with what you're doing, that sounds like spouse energy. I think you should have that conversation. And the biggest thing the enemy does is the worst thing we can do oftentimes is assume. You know, I once heard that when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, right? That's when you assume, that's what you do. So I would definitely recommend that you have a conversation and put it out there. Over communicate. Again, find when they're in a good position. Because if they're angry, if they're irritated, they mad at you, they're not going to receive nothing that you have to say. So you want to catch them when they're in a good space. And then just say, hey, it's two things I want you to know. You are important to me, and I value your opinion. But there have been times when I don't share my plans and my moves with you in fear that you're going to reject it or cast it down or not believe in me. I need you to believe in me, and I need you to trust me. And your opinion, your voice really matters. I think at that time, you let them know how much power they have. Because if they're spewing negativity and being negative, they don't realize the power of their words. And then you tell them, I made a mistake because I began to do things to not keep you included. It's not because I didn't want you to be included. It's just because I didn't want you to shoot my dream down, or I didn't want you to put the fire out. I was so excited about something. And then give examples. 3 weeks ago, when I came to you about opening up a cupcake shop, and you told me that was stupid, nobody was doing cupcakes, and I'm not that good of a baker, it just made me not want to run no more plays by you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just say, Razel, it's just to be open and be vulnerable, right? And when I say be vulnerable, like, let them know, like, humble spirit, contrite heart. Like, hey, I value your opinion. I actually do want to run things by you. And I don't want you to ever feel like I'm leaving you out. But in the past, there has been a pattern of negativity or condescending tones, and I need good energy. I need positivity from you. So I would just say to have that type of conversation. And then if it is a spouse indeed, you know, depending on their maturity level, you might need to have a mediator. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might need to have somebody where you two can kind of talk it out, and somebody can help that person see what you're saying, and you can see what they're saying. That person can see you, and you can see them, depending on their maturity level and your maturity level. There might be so much damage that's done where this conversation is really going to bear fruit when you have a counselor or a mediator or somebody in between. Or you can be really, really prayerful, fast and pray, and then have that conversation with them. But in closing, if you tell them, I do value your opinion, I do want to include you, this is the only reason why I stopped including you, and you let them know the importance of their words and how you need their words to build you up. I think that could be a game changer for you. Great question. Man, I appreciate y'all tapping in with me tonight. If you have not subscribed, oh man, please subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I plan on doing this every single week as long as my schedule permits. If I'm traveling on the plane at 7 o'clock on Wednesday or Thursday, I can't do it, then I can't. But my goal is to do this weekly. I'm excited for what we're building. I'm excited for what's taking place and what's happening. And at the end of the day, I just want y'all to win. At the end of the day, I just want you to win. Whether you want to be a better person, a better husband, a better father, a better mother, a better wife, like a better speaker, a better entrepreneur, a better CEO, like, you know, we got resources for you. You see the Next Level Speakers Academy here with the conference. I do want to talk about the conference because I know some of y'all in the chat was like, what about the conference coming up? Because you saw somebody else just get it. So put the conference thing up for them. But I will say this. I do trainings all the time, like twice a month. We have our conference coming up. I'm big on speaking, but this Next Level Talks, it's not just about speaking. It's about being. Does that make sense? Y'all put 100 in the chat if you feel me, if you feel what I'm saying. Like this Next Level Talks that we're doing, I'm going to answer questions on speaking. I'm going to tie it back to speaking, but it's not just really the art of speaking. It's really the art of who you are. Does that make sense? The art of who I am. The only reason why I'm not on certain stages, and I ain't going to hold you, I've been on some amazing stages. The only reason there are some things and some platforms God hasn't given me yet is he's like, son, I can't trust you with it yet. And so I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. This, you think we call it Next Level Talks, Next Level Speakers Academy because you ever arrived? No, it's the constant pursuit to be everything that God has called you to be. And with these Next Level Talks, we're curating conversation through our community of what it looks like to live and walk and talk on that next level. Because I believe the more wholeness you have in your heart, the stronger you are, the more locked in you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, the more power and potent the words that you share will come out and how it will bless and change people's lives, man. And so, I pray that y'all were blessed. I want to pray for you real quick, as I always end the Next Level Talks. And then I want to show you all a quick video that I believe will get you excited for the conference that's coming up June 7th through 9th, if you're interested in being speakers. Fun fact, 70% of the people who come are interested in being speakers. The other 30% come because they want to be in the room around energy and positivity. That's deep. I met so many people last year that was like, Jeremy, I ain't even trying to speak like that. I'm still afraid to speak publicly. I just need to get in the room around this energy and get this word, this insight, this depth, because it's not just about speaking. It's about life as a whole, right? We are the most holistic programming community. We want you to prosper, even as your soul prosper and your business prosper and your family life to prosper and your finance prosper and your health prosper. We want all of that to prosper. And so, God, I'm grateful to have some time tonight to just be open and vulnerable and transparent, showing with them a few areas that I've been a hypocrite and how you're working on me, God. And I pray that you will bless them and guide them throughout the process, give them discernment on what adjustments they need to make in this new season. And I pray that as they make those adjustments, it will put them in a position to be blessed with even more opportunities and resources by you, God. I pray for every marriage, every household, all the children, all the plans, all the investments, all the approvals. I pray for this people that's waiting to close on their houses, people that's applying for jobs and new positions. I'm praying for those people who are on right now that's depressed, that's tired, that's confused, Lord, that's frustrated, that's ready to quit. I pray that you give them enough strength to keep fighting, to keep pushing. I pray that they know, Lord, that their condition will not be their conclusion. So I pray for the person that needs clarity right now. I pray for the person that feels tired. Give them enough strength to keep fighting, to keep pushing. I pray for every person that should be at the hotel where the conference is taking place. God, I believe it's the Westin. You know every person that should be there. So draw them there. We only want the people in the room that you want to be there. So I pray for our upcoming conference as well. And may you blow our minds like you've done the last 3 years. Thank you for this time you've given us. And I'm grateful to be able to connect with my people tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Y'all check out this video, and then I'll be right back.
This is only day one, and I'm losing my mind because I'm already changed.
Incredible. And so many connections. It's crazy.
I came to take my speaking to the next level. They took my life to the next level.
Ain't no competition when you make it to the top.
More family time, more abundance. You've been made for more. Either you're in the midst of adversity, just came out of adversity, or you're about to head into some adversity. So you better be prepared for it either way.
Don't miss it because it's life-changing.
Man. So Next Level Speakers Conference, if you're interested, if you're in Atlanta, people flying in from the UK, from Canada, South Africa, and of course all over the US, man. I'm really excited. It's gonna be special. I can't explain it to you. You gotta just be there. So anyway, put that on your radar. We set for another one next week. Let me look at my calendar and just confirm. Let me look at my calendar here and confirm. Yeah, next week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. And y'all be blessed, man. We'll see y'all next week.